So, is your child that has VCFS, correct?
No.
Oh.
No. My daughter has mixed expressive receptive language disorder.
Oh, and what is that exactly? I'm not sure I've heard of that.
Okay, basically the information that I have about it is language disorder, obviously. She has problems reading other people's emotions,
Yep.
Understanding written language, has a lot of difficulties with body language, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's not all that my daughter has. That was what she was diagnosed with,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a possibility she has ADD. But my daughter has a lot of characteristics of Asperger's.
Okay.
And so I'm going to be pursuing that with a new doctor very soon.
And how did you discover this?
My daughter, when she was young, seemed to she met her milestones. She seemed a little bit delayed.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, looking back, that there were some red flags that I missed.
Yep.
My youngest son is 13 months younger than her, so when I took them in for their doctor's appointments, I would take them together, and she was behaving pretty badly, and it was pretty chaotic. So when they give you the paperwork and ask you, is your child doing this and this and this, I did fill some of it out, and they started to question me about a little bit of it. And at the time, I was trying to get out of the doctor's office. So, like I said, this was all in hindsight. Mm-hmm. She had a couple delays. And when she would speak, she had problems with speech, but nothing that was really huge that I thought was a really big problem. I thought she'd come along.
Yeah.
So it did start when she was a toddler.
How is she doing in school?
She had a lot of problems until this year. This year they put her in a resource room full time, and she's doing terrific. It's a slower pace.
Good.
She was held back a year in school, and she's doing phenomenal this year. Mm-hmm. I would expect her grades would have been higher, and I just spoke with her teacher, but her teacher thought she was doing very well. Oh,
that's good. And the teachers are understanding of her needs?
They are, because I did the evaluation. I brought the paperwork in, and they put her in language therapy this year.
Oh, okay.
So they are on board with everything because I came to the school with the paperwork.
You went in there and took care of some business.
I sure did, absolutely.
My mother sounds just like my mother. Although my mom did a little bit more than that, but.
Well, I did read your book, so I do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know what your mom did and things you wrote about, which was an excellent book.
And how's your husband dealing with all of this?
It's difficult at times. Mm-hmm. The two of us in the past, before we knew of her language disorder, we just thought it was bad behavior. So when it got tough for one of us and we felt like we were a little bit at a breaking point, we would switch off and say, okay, it's your turn to deal with her. And the other one would step out of the room. But getting a diagnosis for me was good because it made, I don't know, I think before, like I said, I thought it was a lot of bad behavior.
Yeah.
She would have a lot of meltdowns at home. So understanding what her problems are a little bit more and realizing it why she's doing the things she is, I don't know, it makes me more lenient on her and more understanding probably is the word.
I read a study somewhere that when, they were first diagnosing people with ADD and dyslexia, they literally just thought they were just bratty kids who didn't care about anything.
Sure.
And if they didn't get their way, they'd just throw a tantrum. Right. And that's what they labeled them as bratty.
Right.
In a way, it'd almost be labeled as bratty than with all this other stuff.
Absolutely, right.
So how is she doing now, though?
The older she gets, it is better for me because she's able to grasp concepts better.
Explain.
As far as things like common sense, because
Yeah.
that is a big issue with her. Things that I would think would come easily to someone else was not coming easily to her. But as she gets older and she has a better understanding about things in general around her, it makes it better. And also, I kind of use this with her age. When she starts to have a meltdown and she's so much bigger than she used to be as a toddler, I'll say to her, you're 9 years old. Are you really going to have this meltdown? You're a big girl now. And she kind of stops and she kind of looks at me, and I try to get her to talk about her feelings rather than throw herself on the floor and lash out.
Sure. Well, I'm sure as she gets older too, it's easier for her to understand what she has,
Sure.
and therefore explain what she needs instead of just throwing a tantrum.
Right. And it's interesting you brought that up, because she asks a lot about what's going on, and she tries very hard, and she asks me all the time, I'm trying hard. I did my best, right? And she constantly needs reassurance, and she talks about it a lot, that she has some problems and that she needs more help than some other kids and things like that. So it does make it better for her.
It's, my mom, she didn't care if I came home with, straight A's, as long as I gave 100%.
Absolutely.
That's all she cared about.
Right.
And she would end up giving me, which I think every parent should do with their child, she would give me tiny little small tasks that she knew I could accomplish, like taking out the trash or washing the dishes, and they would gradually get bigger, like, taking messages, writing things down, although sometimes I still get that wrong. But, they would just gradually get bigger, and therefore that would build up my confidence.
Right.
Let me know that I had confidence and I could do things that I put my mind to.
Sure.
So, Perry and I, my wife and I, are talking about having kids. But, when you have a disorder or a syndrome like that, you have to do it a special way. You can't just go in there and take care of business and out comes the baby.
Right. Right.
But it's difficult, but I think it's something that we're definitely thinking about.
Right.
Anyways, well, thank you very much for your time.
Sure.
And this was only going to be about 5 minutes or so at the most.
Okay.
But, I hope all is well, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I wish you the best of luck as well. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.